pictures he's taken with her, like, I'm like, that's not the kind of picture you take with your wife, not with your daughter. Like, she's sitting in his lap and she's like looking at him. I'm like, daughters don't sit on their daddy's laps like that. Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah, like it's just weird behavior. Yeah, and then you've got this woman who's saying that she worked for Epstein, and when she was younger, Trump said that I like her. She reminds me of my daughter. Yeah, so those sort of things where that's her. I've got no audio of Trump actually saying that, of course, because obviously this would have been at an Epstein event. But she's saying when she was working for Epstein, that's what he said. That I remind him of his daughter. And then you hear what he says about his daughter and you're like,
It is a bit weird.
It's weird behavior. Look, let me play the clip, yeah? All right, a couple of clips, yeah? And then we can go from there, yeah?
She's really a beautiful baby, and she's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years.
Ivanka, what's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that. Although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know? I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
So, listen, look, right? Telling a little girl, 9-year-old girl, as she's going up the escalator that you're going to be dating her in 10 years. No, I don't know. That's a red flag for me there as well, right there, right? I don't care what anyone says. And even though Trevor was trying to like laugh it off and say, well, at least he said he'd wait 10 years ago. Go, no, Trevor, you cannot do that to a 9-year-old girl, right? But yeah, go on, man. Like,
all right, look, I agree.
You might say he sounds like an idiot. Yeah, go on.
It's outrageous. It's probably a bit, we can look at it and critique it. But just hearing in the tone and the inflection in his voice, to me, it sounds like he's just being an idiot. In terms of he's just being a bit cocky. He thinks he's the guy. But if you were really a predator and you were really doing that shady shit, you'll be smart enough to not even talk about that.
Yeah,
Unless
but at the same time, you could say he is extremely arrogant and talks about everything because he believes he can get away with anything. Throughout his life, from what clips, even not to do with this, yeah, he'll do that. Even in his political career, he'll say things that.
As opposed
funny, at the same time, I don't think it's just a joke. I think he's taking shots at people and stuff like that as well. But like, in the day, bro, you don't say shit like that, like ever. Yeah, and if you looked at some of the pictures as well, like I just feel like the pictures are a little bit weird with his daughter as well. To me, it just makes me feel uneasy. It's like, man, something's not right with this guy. Yeah, but then to hear this next lady who I'm going to play in a second, who worked for Epstein, she said that he turned around and said at a party or something that she reminded, at that age when she was younger, because she was a lot younger then, reminded him of his daughter, sorry.
What do you think about what Trump's been saying?
No, of course it's odd. I think what you said is a good point though, because even Jimmy Savile, like, he wasn't making comments like this.
And his comment, Jimmy Savile would say, the girls are feared, they fear me at the school. That's really like a predator tone, as opposed to this is like, I'm walking around like I'm the king.
Yeah, I mean...
No, but I think if you look at Jimmy Savile, which we'll cover up, and obviously we want Waz to be a part of that one as well, but when we do the Jimmy Savile one, right, okay, you'll see he actually makes it comical when he's being pushed on the BBC, I can't remember what, it was by a BBC presenter, and he gets pushed and he makes it all comical and the crowd are laughing and joking with him. But when you're listening to him, you're actually like, yo, you lot shouldn't be laughing at this because this guy is actually being... Do you know what I mean? Whereas the same thing with Trump, like he's making a joke of it and it makes it look like it's humorous and all that sort of stuff. But you don't know if there's intention there as well, man.
It's certainly odd. It is weird. Some comments, so you can't really defend it. Right? The average Joe wouldn't say stuff like that. Like, you wouldn't even think to say it. But whether it's just like some dark humor,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be that.
Fucking dark humor, bro.
But it is certainly odd. I mean, the 9-year-old thing is definitely crazy. We could say maybe it was a different time. Could we go for that? But it's definitely weird. But you would hope that if something had happened over the years, that we'd know about it, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, no, nothing would have happened with her. Like, but it's his daughter. I don't think he's touched his daughter in any weird way. I don't doubt it at all. Yeah, I don't think that's happened. But what worries you if being a friend with Epstein? If this next bit is true, then he found a girl, one of Epstein girls that did remind him of his daughter, and he did something. But listen to what she has to say. Yeah, but
Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter, and she said, well, she's 13 as well. So he knew the first time that he saw me. But he comes over mad because I was crying, and he said that I should be thankful that someone like Donald Trump took my virginity. He basically didn't say took my virginity. He said I should be glad that someone like Donald Trump popped my cherry and not some pimply little 14-year-old. And I just was like, what if I said, what if I get pregnant? Not even talking to him. I didn't want to talk to him. I was talking to Tiffany. And he said, well, you'll get an abortion then, bitch. And then just walked away.
Still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
okay, so that doesn't sound much better, right? If she's telling the truth, okay? Because I know we've got to put it out there. Like, I don't know the ins and outs of this case, right? But she's someone who's one of the Epstein girls who's come forward and, you know, given a statement, made a comment, given her version of or accounts of things that happened under Epstein, and one of them is that Donald Trump did take over virginity. And by the sounds of it, from what I understand, that sounds like to me she's even potentially telling that it was forcibly taken as well. So, because she's clearly, if she was willing to do it, like not willing to do it, but if she was being paid to do that sort of stuff, even though that's wrong, you think she wouldn't be so upset about it. So, but there's a reason she was upset about it. She's basically telling that it was forcibly taken. Thoughts, lads?
I mean, the thing is, yeah, like, we're living in a time where there's a lot of money to be made on these court cases.
Yep.
The false accusations. We saw this in Trump's first term where the Supreme Court Justice, there's that lady that came out of the woodwork 40 years later, smiling in the courtroom saying, he raped me at a house party. I don't know where the house party was, how I got there, who I went with, how I got home. It just came out of the woodwork, and you know, like, we don't know if these people are paid to do this, to create negative PR, or just to make money. It's a good hustle. What I would say though is, if somebody was brave enough to come out during the peak of Jimmy Savile, when he was covered by the BBC.
But the thing is, there were people who came out for Jimmy Savile, right? The police ignored it though.
They ignored it, and also would people in the public have believed it? They might have said the same thing that I'm saying right now. So this is the problem. We can never really know. Like, it could easily be a hustle, but it could also be real.
Thing is, problem with us is like society. Yeah, if someone comes out about someone famous and a woman says they sexually assaulted her, we say, oh, she's looking to clean up right away, right? So, let's be honest, it's the first thing we think of, yeah? Especially as men, yeah? We do everything, man, whatever, give me the proof. Yeah. But then when we see something like a real conspiracy like this, and then we see people who are involved, then we start saying, well, he was mates with him, and, you know, like, do you know what I mean? And then we ignore that whole thing, like, well, give me the proof, right? And I don't want to, like, knock this woman and say, look, because she may be telling the truth, yeah? I'm not saying she is, yeah? So if she went through something, like, you know, I don't want to, like, say she's an outright liar or anything like that, but, like, for all we know, she's telling the truth or she's not telling the truth. If she is telling the truth, then that doesn't look good on him, right? That someone's come out and said it. At the same time, how do you prove that now, 20 years later, or whatever? She looks a lot older, because she probably looks about my age probably now, right? And I'm in my 40s. How do we know it took place? How do we know, like you said, how do you know she's not being paid to say it as well? Like, we don't know what the truth is, and that's what makes it even harder. Unless there's actual footage, which Epstein recorded, showing Trump, not just Trump, anyone. We can't hand on heart say, yeah, that person's definitely guilty. And that's the problem here as well.
Well, I mean, Epstein's brother was recently saying that they were very good friends, like Epstein and Trump. So, I mean, what she said there is really disgusting, because not only did we talk about popping her cherry, he told her get an abortion, bitch. Like, does Trump strike you like that kind of person? Though, when you see his interactions like outside,
You know what? For me,
Epstein?
you know what? For me, he does, man.
You reckon?
He comes off as that kind of guy to me, man. I reckon he would.
Because I feel like the president character, the way that he is towards the media, yeah, is just part of the strongman character that he kind of needs to, because the media's always on his ass, right? So he has to give it back to them as much as they give it to him. But when you see him outside of being the president, or like when you see him on podcasts, when you see his interactions with the general public, you know, like military, or, you know, he's slipping $100 on the slide to people that are just regular workers, and you know, there's stories of people that have been ill, and then he secretly funds like their healthcare to very sick people, chronically ill. People have come out over the years and reported this, and he's never mentioned it. I mean, he didn't use it for any sort of positive PR clout or anything like that, when he could have. A lot of people do. It's like, when you see that, it just doesn't sound like that guy.
Just thinking the facts though, was it Trump that said it, or was it Epstein? Because she says Epstein said to her, be glad that it was Trump and not some 14-year-old pimple boy. So was it Epstein that said, okay, did she ask Epstein, okay, what about if I get a baby?
But didn't she just say, didn't she, yeah, but Epstein would have said, we will get you an abortion, because he's in charge.
Yeah, but it wasn't Trump that said that to her, was it?
No, that's what she's saying. Trump said it to her.
Trump said that to her, getting a point. Oh, okay.
As he's rolling up his pants, basically.
Oh, shit.
I mean, it sounds absolutely mental. If it's true,
it does sound mental.
You know, they should have slumped him when they tried to, but I don't know that it just doesn't seem consistent with the Trump that that you see sometimes outside of the presidential.
I think it is. I think it's in line with. I think even Biden, even Obama, and you know how people see Obama, right? Like he can't do anything wrong, right?
Yeah,
he's Mr. Perfect, right? I think that guy's a dirty bastard all kind of scene. He probably talks like that to women as well. That he does.
Talk to the guys about that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what happened to your chef, mate? But you get what I mean, right? I think politicians are great at presenting themselves in a certain way. Remember, these guys are actors, man. They can pull it off in front of you, and pull the wool over your eyes easily. And then behind the scenes, you start hearing some shocking shit, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, and then like, look how long Jimmy Savile fucking conned the British public.
Yeah.
You know, they thought he was a saint. Kissing all the grandmas used to love him, and Jimmy. Do you know what I mean? Mr. Raised 10 million to, build a hospital. The royal family, like it's like, and then behind the scenes you hear some of the testimony from, which we will when we do the episode. Some of the testimony from some of the young girls, different animal altogether.
True, I can imagine that.
So the charity was like very much in your face, like guys, look at me, look at the charity work I'm doing. It was used as a tool to people. Oh, look at this charitable guy. Yeah. You know, like look at this charitable guy. There's no way that he could be a mass rapist, having sex with dead bodies. But in the case of Trump, all this stuff he has done, where he's like, funded people's to a chronically ill's healthcare and stuff. That's only come out through like the parent who has told it, or he slipped someone $100 who's about to jump off Manhattan Bridge or whatever, got them to stop killing themselves. You don't hear about that stuff, yeah? Because he doesn't ever talk about it. He doesn't use it as a tool to be like, okay, cool, look at this great guy. He can't be a pedophile, he can't be a rapist. If he was going to do those things for a purpose of covering up to the mass public, we would know about it without the person who's affected coming out and talking about it. So we can't say that those things he uses us like the way that Jimmy Savile used them. Like, what a great guy. So that's why I'm on the fence about this. Just because I know the president character that he is to the media, that's just the character that he has to be towards how they are, because they are vultures. They really are fake news, and nobody can tell me the media is real. When he says fake news, he's not lying about that. I've seen it countless times. We've seen it. COVID pandemic, all of that.
Yeah, but it's always at the same time take the media out of it, right? Even if you're a podcaster or someone like that. Let's say it's like we're talking now us, yeah, all right, and we actually had some evidence of some wrongdoing, not necessarily to do with this on his part. You know, it would be fake news straight away. You know, anything that goes against Trump is fake news. Yeah, their lies, their propaganda, and all this sort of stuff. That's how I feel with him. I feel everything with him that challenges him or his authority is fake news or fake this or a hoax or whatever. So that's a bit. Although I get what you're saying, at the same time, I feel like when I look at him, I go, "Are you're gonna, yeah, here we go. He's gonna do it. Fake news, fake news, fake news." Like, is everything fake news? There's everything about you is untrue that they put out there. Do you know what I mean? You know, only a couple, you know, news outlets in America like Fox, etc., and I can't remember the other one, who actually are probably quite in his favor. But at the same time, I feel like that's the way it's supposed to be sold as well. Like, if you want the people to believe the controlled opposition they're putting in front of you, then you need everyone to be against them.
So,
and when you control the media, you're going to say, right, 1, 2, 3, Fox, you're on his side though.
So I don't want to discredit this woman and call her a liar, because to be honest, the story is very believable, and I can't imagine elites being a completely different animal and being absolutely evil back behind the scenes. I can see that, but isn't it? And just to play devil's advocate, isn't it a little bit convenient though that she's come out to say that when Kash Patel even called out Bill Gates lobbying the government. We know that there's so many people that are doing this. There's a whole list, there's a whole book, right, of people, yet no one else has come, well, I don't know at least, but there's no other interview being taken place with a young girl saying, yeah, by the way, Bill Gates popped my cherry, for example. It just so happens to be Trump in this pivotal time in his career as a president of the United States. As a conspiracy theorist, or as a skeptic, you could say that's a little bit convenient. But again, I don't want to call her a liar because I could also imagine it being
But remember, at the same time, this is only part of an interview. You don't know what she said in the rest of the interview. Yeah, look, we played a small little clip of Donald J. Trump, right? Because we're talking about Trump.
I bet she did not say Bill Gates.
No, but like, I'm not saying Bill Gates or anything like that. What I'm saying is that you don't know who else she revealed in her thing. But naturally, and this is what I said. Sorry, but you're a fucking idiot as well, because you made such a noise about it for your campaign trail this time round, and then you continued to make a noise about it after you were in position and you took power in January or whatever it was, right? And you got your DA to make a big noise about it as well. You've now put yourself in a position. Now you need to fucking explain yourself now with the decisions you are making, which you're not going to fucking release the footage, or the footage doesn't exist and stuff. So at the same time, you shot yourself in the foot a little bit in that sense, yeah? Like, so naturally, all that is now, with him now, what it looks like he's trying to cover it up, is now, well, okay, let's start showing all the stuff that connects him to it, because that's the reason why he wants to do it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So naturally, all the focus is going to be on everything every woman has said about Trump. Now, yeah, because the question is, why are you stopping this? This is why. And this is our evidence as to why we believe you're stopping it, right? Whereas it's not like if that was, I don't know, another president, right, who was doing exactly the same thing, did the exact same mistake, and I think it is clearly a mistake from his part, turns around and does the same thing, then you would end up highlighting what that president, about that, what involvement that president has with that individual, right? So if it was Obama, well, how many times did you fly to his island? Do you know what I mean? The emphasis would be there, but they were smart enough to keep their mouth shut about it. That's the way I look at it. So I think, yeah, it's going to feel like everything's targeting Trump, because guess what? He's the one who fucking campaigned on it and made a massive noise about it. And now you're trying to shut it down. Why are you trying to shut it down? Now they're trying to link everything to him. Why he's trying to shut it down? Everyone knows there's more people on that list.
Who's they, firstly? Who's trying to link him?
Media, whoever in it,
but
people,
the media is owned by the same people that
the media,
in the book.
The media, etc. All that. Remember, I just told you before. When someone thinks they're getting too big and they're too powerful and they think they're the man, they're gonna say, "I'm gonna slap you back down and put you back on your leash, boy."
As well.
Yeah, you better get on your knees and kiss my feet, mate. Yeah, because we're the ones. We're the elites, not you, mate. Remember that you work for us, not the other way around. Yeah.
There's levels. Trump's a what?
I feel like at times he has got that. He has got that way with him. Do you know what I mean? Where he's been a bit pushy and he's given a bit of back and forth with Netanyahu in Israel. big no-no. He's done that a little bit where, you know, he wants to do it my way. No, let's do it peacefully. Just stop bombing them, you know, and then I'll talk to the UN, or let's make it a freedom zone, which we will control as the US, which was essentially what you were saying earlier on. Let's move all the Palestinians out and redevelop it, and then we'll bring them back in, which is, once they're gone, they're not coming back. And then he was trying to redo it and said, well, I'm turning my back on Netanyahu, we're not helping Israel anymore, the UN needs to make it a freedom zone, but a freedom zone that the US will look after. He was trying to do, so many different ways he was trying to get control of Gaza, and stop all of that at the same time, and just take control of it and move the Palestinians in a quiet, peaceful way. Because one thing I will give him that, I think he worked out straight away, is like, the way you're doing it now is not smart. It's not working. You're getting a lot of enemies against Israel. Everyone's turning their back on them now. Even people that did used to support Israel's cause no longer support it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So where he was trying to be a bit bullish with that approach to things, they're like, you know what? This guy's getting a little bit, you know, out of his box. We need to kick him back into place. There you go. Now we're going to kick you back into place.
But that's why if he came out and said, look, this is what they're doing, because there's so much, like, Israel's got such negative press on them now, like, and rightfully so. I think people would actually, like, commend him for coming out and saying, look, this is what's happened. Like, because I've come out against them, or I've critiqued them, now they're trying to come after me.
It's a matrix attack.
It's a matrix attack. They've manipulated the documents, and they're trying to hold it against me. And because there's so much from all sides of the political spectrum is against Israel now, for what's been going on since October 7th, I think people would be like, that would be actually the best approach to this. More so than, you know, the Democrats, it's a hoax and they've manipulated the documents. If what we're saying is true here, just come out and say it. You'll get more respect for it, and it will truly lead to that proper, what's the word, I suppose?
He would have been better off being more listening. He would have been better off being more honest about it and saying, look, and trying to put it in a way that was, look, guys, yes, we promised you the Epstein files. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't promise you the Epstein files anymore, right? We can give you little bits. We can't give you any more than that, right? There's a whole legal, and there is a legal proceeding around it, because a judge, like I said, has to sign off on it. So he could have made this a lot easier than saying there is no list, there's no footage. Yeah, Pam Bondi should have known better as well. Like, that's the only, like it just shows incompetence from her part as well. Because my advice to him would have been, let's not do it that way. Let's do it my way. And the way I'm going to do it is this. I'm going to turn around and say, look, there's legal proceedings around this. It has to go to a judge. The judge has to okay that we can release this information. And if the judge says no, then, and the likelihood she should know what the judge is really going to release and what they're not going to release. And it's probably not going to be a lot. Let's be honest. They're national security, all that stuff that you know what I mean, protecting certain individuals who we know are the elites and they're the powerful ones, the Zionists. There's no way a judge is going to release that information. So in a sense, you could have easily shunned this out and said, look, this is all we can release. Here's the information. You're not going to get any more than that. The judge has made a call on it, etc. Now, when you go to the judge and do it, it's just going to look like, well, now you knew that already, and so now you're going to use that as your excuse for not releasing it. Do you get it? He hasn't, like, they've just not thought about it. I feel like they've knee-jerked. They panicked. They promised all this stuff. They thought it would go quiet. Like I told you, it didn't go quiet. And in the end, they were like, well, how do we stop this? Yeah, well, we just tell them that there's no list and there's no footage. You reviewed it. Oh, okay, cool. And they've gone with it, and it's backfired.
So poor to do that, though.
Yeah, it's amateur.
But then this means, is there a rat in the administration, and is the rat JD Vance?
I have seen a bit.
I think you need to understand something about politics. Yeah, no one's on your side, even on your team. There's the opportunists and the ambitious ones.
Because he was always anti-Trump, right?
You look at Putin. Putin, how did he get it? He came from nothing. That guy literally came from nothing. He didn't come from any riches or anything like that. I was watching something on him the other day, and that guy came from nothing. He worked his way through, but he worked his way through strategically, right? So I think he was like the assistant mayor, vice mayor to, I don't know which seat it was again now. But whereas the actual mayor was very vocal and stuff, he was very quietly in the back working and positioning himself into a position of power. And JD Vance won't be any different. You can't, a guy who said he's a never Trumper once upon a time and then suddenly whoop, flips and becomes vice president. Obviously Peter Thiel's told him, listen, you take that fucking job, you idiot. Yeah, because remember who runs you. Yeah, and eventually Trump's gonna go. Yeah, he's not gonna get a third term. Right, when he goes, you're in. Yeah, or hopefully, if he dies before that for ill health or anything, you're in a position to just take the presidency, and then we can make shit happen. Yeah, right now we're having to go through him and kiss his ass because he's got an ego. Whereas with you just do what I tell you to.
Or we'll leak this information, make people,
Exactly.
Get onto Trump for the Epstein stuff. Meanwhile, Vance is saying we need to release the Epstein files, right? So it makes Vance look like good, like he wants to release the files.
And the thing is, Vance. I don't think Vance would be on that list at all because of his age, right? So he's a young man, right? He wouldn't have been involved in Epstein. Yeah, so he's not on that list, in my opinion. Yeah. So which means he can play that safe play and really go after Trump and fuck him up and think, right? Because remember, even within this structure of the elites, right, and their puppets are always arguing and positioning with each other to take power. Yeah, it's the same like you if you work in a company, right? And you've got ambitious people, right? And you're working around, and you're that guy who doesn't really play that game, yeah? But you just want to work, do it on the merit of what you deliver, right? All right. And then you got all these guys trying to snake you from behind your back and kissing the boss's ass and all that sort of stuff. It's the same thing among them as well, right? Okay, just because JD Vance is like there, on his side, making it sound like he's on his team. Yeah, I'm on your team, but I'm here to serve my own purpose, which is I want to be president one day. Yeah, and I want to be the elite's boy, not you. Do you get it? Yeah, they're all going to try and snake each other. So it doesn't mean Trump's not part of the deep state. It just means that he's got people in his team who are like, I want that position.
Well, they also said that he met with Rupert Murdoch, I believe it was, like a few days before the information about that birthday message came about.
Yeah, he's met Murdoch on a few occasions now, apparently.
And then following that, certain anti-Trump stuff has come out. So it's like, is he the one that's feeding that information to the press and it's coming out? And is he the one that's giving Trump poor advice that we're seeing, like about the messaging, the inconsistent messaging? Tell them this, tell them that, do this policy, do that. And then Trump's the fall guy for it at the end of the day, and rightfully so, he's the president, but you also have to remember Trump's 78 years old, the energy that he once had is not there anymore. It's clear, that's objective, you can see that. That's why he doesn't do as many rallies anymore as well. So he needs a good team around him, but if one of the teams, especially the vice president, is secretly an anti-Trump,
personally, I don't think he makes it to the end of this presidency.
Yeah, I don't think he will, one way or another.
Yeah, I don't think he makes it. He won't finish this term.
Either through death, assassination, just all death, or the Epstein stuff. So,
what, you reckon they'll impeach him?